Good afternoon. We are starting the equations, inequalities, and functions sheet packet today. Okay, in this video. We're going to start at the beginning as always. We're going to work on equations first. If you're not sure what equations are, please refer back to my previous video where I went over some of the definitions. Okay. So equations use variables. I'm looking for my pen. There we go. I always put it down, then I can never find it. Equations always use variables. When you first put into these in the first part of your packet, you're going to be dealing with fairly simple equations, okay? These will be things that look like 4 plus x equals 11. Most of you are probably able to look at this and be like, okay, well, if I count up from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so it should be 7. 4 plus 7, right? Some of you may even be able to look at that and go, oh, it's 7. Which is good. That is one way to do this. However, there is an algebraic method to do this, and it's the one we want to learn. Okay? This is the correct answer. If you got it really quickly, good. Make sure you learn this next method as well. Okay? Whenever we're working on equations, and typically it'll say something at the top like solve for x. Okay? If it ever tells you to find x, whoever wrote it has a problem with their ex partner, husband, wife, something. Don't get involved. In this case, we're solving for x. We want to find out what x equals. Okay, and that's what we want to know. X equals what? Okay, this will remind me of my question. When we're working on equations, we always treat our equal sign like a mirror. Remember with fractions, anything I did on the top, I had to do on the bottom. In this case, anything I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And it gets mirrored on the other side. Okay? We need to isolate our x. Isolate. We need to get our x all by itself on one side of the equation. Okay? There's a lot of different ways to do this. We try to use the easiest way. In this case, in order to get this x by itself, we just need to move our 4. So we look at our 4. Is it a positive 4 or a negative 4? Since it's not marked with a negative sign, we assume it's positive. So since it's a positive, in order to move it or get rid of it, in order to make it equal 0, I need to subtract 4. Let me erase my little question here, so I have room. So I'm going to subtract 4. If I do it on this side, I have to do it on this side. 4 minus 4 is 0, which is perfect. That's what I wanted. I bring this straight down because I'm not changing it. I rewrite my equal sign. 11 minus 4 is 7. Now I've got 0 plus x equals 7. You don't need to write out a 0. I wrote it out here to show you guys what we're doing. So you would rewrite it. X equals 7. And that's my answer. Now notice I did the opposite operation. This was a positive, so it was adding, right? Because the negative number is the same as subtracting it. Okay? So since I was adding a 4 here, I could subtract this 4 here, and then thus get rid of it. Let's look. This is what's called, by the way, a single step equation. Okay, because I did one thing. I just subtracted the 4 and poof, solved. Single step. One thing to do. Okay? There are double step, triple step equations. Okay? They're not any harder than this is. You just have to do more things. It takes longer. Okay? But it's not harder. Remembering your operations will help a lot. Addition and subtraction are opposite. Multiplication and division are opposite. Okay? Remembering those. A square root and a squared number are opposites. You thankfully don't get in that too much in our GED course. Let's look at another one. Let's look at x minus 23 equals, let's go 45. Now some of you out there, again, maybe you'll do this really quickly in your head. Good. Practice doing it the other way as well. Okay? Since you already know the answer, you know what you should get. Alright? For those of us who are not as quick, myself included, can't do it that quickly, we work it out the long way. Not a problem. Still pretty quick, right? So I have x minus 23. I want to isolate my x. I want that x all by itself. The opposite of minus 23 is going to be add 23, right? And I do it to both sides, right? Just because I have 0, I'm going to put a plus sign there. I can put a minus sign there if I want. It really doesn't make any difference because it's a 0, right? This could be the 8th, and so x plus 0 equals 68. So I know x equals 68. Because any number plus 0 or minus 0 is going to be itself, right? So x is going to equal 68. Seems pretty simple so far, I hope. If not, practice makes perfect. Okay. Let's do one with multiplication and one with division, just so I can show you guys that it can be done, okay? Let's go 3x equals 15. Now, I mentioned this before in another video. I'll mention it here just in case you've skipped ahead. Anytime I have a number next to a variable, it is multiplication. And the reason for this being, I have 3 x's. Let me prove this to you, okay? I'm going to actually use a number to prove this. Let's say I have 3 times 4, right? Which is typically written like this. Notice my multiplication dot. You probably have trouble seeing it in the video. I'll make it bigger. There you go. I have multiplication dot because x is a variable now, not multiplication. Okay. It's also written 3 parentheses 4. Okay. Same thing. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. That is the same as saying 4 plus 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4 also equals 12. So these two are the same. So I have 3 x's. So instead of saying x plus x plus x, we simply write it as 3x. Because we have 3 times of those x's. Okay? So again, anytime we see a number next to a variable with no indication of operation in between them, notice there's no division sign, there's no addition or subtraction, no actual multiplication sign. It's just written right next to each other, and we assume it's multiplication. Okay? So in order to solve this, opposite operation, this is multiplication, and a divide. Remember I told you a fraction is a division problem. Okay, if you want to, you can write it over on the side, right? You can go divide by 3. I find this to be easier. Do what works for you. Your brain works the way it wants to work, okay? These cancel. What is 3 divided by 3? It's 1, right? What is 1 times anything? It's whatever that anything is, right? So 1 times x is going to be 1x. So we have 1 in here, right? 15 divided by 3. You can work it out long form if you need to, okay? It's going to be 5. So my x equals 5. Okay? Let's do a division problem next. Division problem, I think because of the way it looks, throws people off. Because they tend to look a little weird. Okay? You will commonly see them with the number on bottom. I'll show you one with an x on bottom here in a moment. But you'll typically see them with the number on bottom. Okay? So this is x divided by 4 equals 10. Because of the way this looks, it tends to freak people out. Because they will look at it and say, that's not a division problem, it's a fraction. Fractions are division problems. Okay? So the opposite of division, somewhere down the line here to separate, is multiplication. Multiply both sides by 4. Okay? 4 times x will give me 4x. 4x divided by 4 will give me x. Let's work this out. Remember, when I'm multiplying by fractions, I have common denominator doesn't matter, right? But I do need a denominator. Change that whole number into a fraction, and I multiply the bottoms and the tops together. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1 is 4. I've got 4x divided by 4. Just like when I had 3x divided by 3 a moment ago, those cancel, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is going to be x, right? Equals, now I can work on the other side. 4 times 10 is 40. Okay? You don't have to do all of this if you don't want to. I was just proving to you that this works out to be x, okay? These two will always cancel because they're the same number. Alright, so you can literally draw a line through them if you want and just bring your x down. Okay? I'm going to show you one with an x on the bottom. The x on the bottom tends to scare people because how you can't move the number on top, right? I'm going to use the same numbers for simplicity's sake. And you're right, I can't move this one on top because this is number being divided. That is a 4. It's hard to tell in that video. There we go. 4 divided by x equals 10. But what I can do is I can multiply both sides by x. Your x is a variable. You can move it around just like you would a number. Okay? We'll go over that some more in the next video as well. Right here you're going to see a taste of it. I'm going to multiply, just like I did before. Multiply by x. Multiply by x. Okay? Now, these are going to cancel. I'm left with 4 equals 10x. Now this, you should know how to solve, right? It's a multiplication of x. So I divide by 10. Divide by 10. Simplify my fraction. Right? X equals 2/5. Notice this is backwards. If this bothers you, flip it. Not a big deal. Okay? You can actually go x equals 2/5. These are the same thing. Okay? You can actually do that up here too. Once you get 10x on this side, if you want to flip it and have 10x equals 4 this way instead, do that. If that's how your brain works and your brain doesn't see it both ways, that's okay. Just know that you can flip it, okay? As long as you keep it in the same order on both sides, you're okay. Our next video will be using multi-step and moving the x's or the variables, okay?